Biologist. A biologist is a scientist who focuses on living organisms, including plants and animals. Wildlife biologists might specialize in studying African elephants. Zoologist. A zoologist is a scientist who studies animals. Zoologists are experts on everything about animals, from their cells to the history of their evolution. Ecologist. An ecologist is a scientist who studies how animals and plants interact with their environment. If you spend hours watching television shows about animals. Botanist. Use the noun botanist to describe a biologist whose specialty is plants, the way they grow, the differences between them, and everything else that has to do with plant science. Mammal. What do you have in common with your hamster, a whale, a bat, a giraffe, and the kid who packs your groceries? Everyone is a mammal, a hairy, warm-blooded, milk-drinking vertebrate. Primate. A primate is a monkey, ape, human, or other similar mammal. You've probably visited the primate house at the zoo. Vertebrate. A vertebrate is an animal that has a backbone and a skeleton. Vertebrate animals include humans. Reptile. A reptile is one of those mostly scaly and slimy animals that are cold-blooded and have backbones. Lizards and turtles. Yep, both reptiles. Puppies and kittens? No way. Amphibian. An amphibian is a cold-blooded vertebrate animal that is born in water and breathes with gills as the larva grows into its adult form. Carnivore. A carnivore is something that feeds on the flesh of animals. Did you know that cute little baby seals are carnivores? They eat penguins. Herbivore. Given a choice between a sirloin steak and a pile of grass, an herbivore will take the grass every time. If grass isn't on the menu, a salad will do. Herbivores eat plants. Creature. A creature is a living thing. There are flying creatures, sea creatures, and even imaginary creatures, like unicorns. Wildlife. Animals that are tamed or domesticated are collectively known as wildlife. One of the things people love about visiting the Galapagos Islands is seeing all the unusual wildlife. Fauna. When you go on a nature walk in a school setting, your teacher might tell you to observe the flora and fauna in the woods. Flora is plant life. Fauna refers to animals. Flora. The flora of a particular area consists of its plant species, considered as a whole. The word also refers to the plant life of a particular area, for example. Species. A species is a distinct group of animals or plants that have common characteristics and can breed with each other. Your poodle and your bulldog are the same species. Flock. The word flock refers to a group of animals, like birds or sheep, that have congregated together. The flock of pigeons at the park is so tame that they'll eat right out of your hand. Herd. A herd is a bunch of animals, or people who act like a bunch of animals. It's also a verb. When people herd animals, they try to keep them moving in the same direction. Swarm. A swarm is a good word for a large group of bees going on the attack, not good news. Like bees. Throng. A throng is a crowd of people or animals. On the crowded platform, the throng of passengers attempted to push their way into the already overcrowded subway car. Crowd. A lot of people or things in a large group make up a crowd. The masses of performers with painted faces, big shoes. Beast. A beast is an animal, and usually not a gentle or attractive one. You can also call a person a beast when they're behaving in a crude, savage, or horrible way. Brute. His road rage may turn your dad into a brute when he gets behind the wheel. A brute is a person who is as ferocious as a wild animal. Cruel. Someone or something that inflicts pain or causes suffering can be described as cruel. It would be cruel of you to offer chocolate to someone on a diet. Originate is a verb that means to start or create something. You can originate the idea of adding a fancy new coffee machine to your company's break room, and before long. Derive if you want to talk about something that comes from something else, but you want it to sound sophisticated and maybe financial or scientific, use derive, like so, that cent. Stem. A stem is a plant stock, and it's also a verb meaning grow out of, so roses have stems, and your idea to give roses to your mom for her birthday stems from her love of flowers. Ancestor. An ancestor came before. Your grandmother's grandmother and any relative before her is one of your ancestors. Descendant. The word descendant refers to something that has come down. For example, everyone is a descendant, or the end of a line of ancestors. Offspring. Puppies are the offspring, or children, of a mama dog. You're the offspring of your biological parents. Subgroup. A distinct and often subordinate group within a group. Feed. To feed someone is to give them something to eat. Part of your daily morning routine might be remembering to feed your cat. Breed. To breed is to have babies, whether you're a human or a hermit crab. A breed is also a specific type of a domesticated species, like a poodle or Great Dane. Interbreed. Breed animals or plants using parents of different races and varieties. Hybridize. Breed animals or plants using parents of different races and varieties. Proliferate. When something proliferates, it's growing, spreading or multiplying really quickly. Bunny rabbits have a habit of proliferating. Sterility. The state of being unable to produce offspring. In a woman it is an inability to conceive, in a man it is an inability to impregnate. Mate. Someone's mate is their spouse, partner, boyfriend, or girlfriend. Your grandmother's long-term sweetheart is her mate. Courtship. A courtship is a period in a romantic couple's relationship when they are dating. Most partners go through a courtship before deciding to get married. Lay. To lay is to set something down or put it in a horizontal position. It can also mean to position or prepare something for action, or, simply, to lay eggs. Hatch. Hatch. A bird such as a hen that sits on eggs to incubate them can be said to hatch the eggs. Then, when a chick emerges from the egg, you can also say it hatched. Brood. Brood. A brood is a group of young born at the same time, like a brood of chicks, but your parents might use the word for you and your siblings. Spawn. Spawn. Technically, the mass of small eggs laid by animals like fish, frogs, mollusks is called spawn. But the word has been borrowed to mean offspring, or the act of making them in general. Mature. Mature. Someone who is mature acts grown up, like an adult. However, when one sister says to another, "That's so mature," she's usually using the word sarcastically. Skin. Skin. Our bodies are covered with skin, a layer of tissue that's also humans' largest organ. When you are sick and have a fever, your skin feels warm. Claw. Claw. The word claw is all about grabbing. It could be a lobster claw or even an ambitious worker clawing his way up the corporate ladder. Paw. Paw. Paw is a four-legged animal's foot. Dogs, cats, rabbits, and bears all have paws. Sharks, not so much. Beak. Beak. When you see a bird pecking around in your backyard, it's using its beak to probe the ground for food. A beak is the hard, pointed structure sticking out from a bird's face. Fin. Fin. A fin is the part of a fish's body that protrudes into the water and helps it balance and move in various directions. Wing. Wing. A movable organ for flying, one of a pair. Plume. Plume. Think of a large, fluffy, colorful feather and you are imagining a plume, something that can be used decoratively, often in hats or vases. Feather. Feather. A feather is one of the soft, fringed plumes that cover the bodies of birds. Some feathers are tiny and downy, while others are large and brilliantly colored. Fur. Fur. Fur is the fuzzy hair on an animal like a rabbit or a raccoon. One downside of having a cat or dog is that you often end up finding their fur all over your house. Bristle. Bristle. A bristle is a stiff hair, the kind men shave off their face or the kind badgers have all over. Bristle also means to get angry. Curl. Curl. Things that curl bend in a spiral or circular shape. When you curl your hair, you use heat to make it wavy and coiled. Insect. Insect. An insect is commonly called a bug. Flies, bees, and wasps are all insects. Worm. Worm. A worm is a small, tube-shaped invertebrate with no arms or legs. The worms that hang out in your garden are very helpful, keeping the soil rich and fertile. Pest. Pest. A pest is something or someone that bugs you. That annoying mosquito that keeps you up at night is a pest, and so is that younger brother who wants to control the TV remote. Parasite. Parasite. A creature that lives off another organism is a parasite. The parasite might not hurt the host, but it doesn't do anything to help it, either. Spider. Spider. A spider is a small, eight-legged animal. Some people scream when they see a spider, but most of the time spiders won't hurt you. Butterfly. A butterfly is a flying insect with a small body and large, often colorful wings. Some gardeners plant specific flowers that attract butterflies. Mosquito. A mosquito is a tiny stinging insect that leaves an itchy welt on your skin. Between its annoying bites and its ability to spread disease. Cricket. A cricket is a chirping insect that resembles a grasshopper. Cricket is also a popular British sport played with a ball and a flat bat. A cricket might be on the cricket field. Penguin. What's black and white and loves to eat seafood? A penguin. Penguins are flightless water birds. Seal. A seal can be either the cute mammal at the aquarium balancing a beach ball on its nose, or the fancy stamp on your diploma that acts as an official seal of approval from your school. Tortoise. A tortoise is a reptile with a hard, rounded shell. It's a type of turtle that lives on land all the time, so bring your pet tortoise in the sandbox with you, but not in the pool. Turtle. A turtle is a reptile with a hard shell that works as a protective shield. Although turtles breathe air. Whale. A whale is a large mammal that lives in the ocean. Whales need to breathe air periodically, and the blowholes on their heads help them do this. Kangaroo. A kangaroo is a large animal that leaps or springs on its big, strong back legs and uses its heavy tail for balance. If you visit Australia or the zoo, you may see a kangaroo. Camel. A camel is a four-legged desert animal that's slightly larger than a horse. Camels are distinctive for the humps on their backs. Panda. A panda is a black and white bear that's native to China. You can't miss the giant pandas in the zoo, with those distinctive black rings around their eyes. Elephant. An elephant is an enormous, four-footed animal with big ears and a long trunk. Unless you've been to certain parts of Asia or Africa. Trunk. The noun trunk refers to the main stem of a tree. If you want to make maple syrup, you need to tap the trunk of the maple tree and collect the tree's sap. Ivory is a hard, white substance found in the tusks of animals, such as elephants. Ivory also refers to a whitish color, like the ivory keys on a piano. Horn. A horn is an instrument that's made of metal and is played by blowing into it. Another type of horn comes out of an animal's head. Bear. To bear is to carry or endure, whether by physical or mental force. If you can bear to read on, you'll find out all the different ways to use the word bear. Wolf. A wolf is a larger, wilder relative of your pet dog. Like your Cocker Spaniel, a wolf is a canine. Unlike your Cocker Spaniel, a wolf isn't nice to cuddle with during a thunderstorm. Dragon. A dragon is a fire-breathing mythological animal, a winged, flying, scaly creature. In many European legends, brave knights battle evil dragons. Fox. A fox is a small, dog-like wild animal with pointed ears and nose, and a thick tail. A red fox has dark front legs that look like little opera gloves. They're sneaky. Cub. A cub is a baby animal. A mother fox sometimes carries her cub by the scruff of its neck. Calf. The word calf can mean either a baby cow or bull, or the area of the back of your leg between your ankle and knee. Pup. Even though you probably think of a young, cuddly dog when you hear the word pup, a pup is the correct name for the young of many different mammals, even the not-so-cuddly porcupine. Lamb. A lamb is a baby sheep. Most female sheep, or ewes, give birth to 1 or 2 lambs each spring. Cattle. Use the word cattle to talk about a group of cows. A farmer might build a new fence to keep her cattle more safely secured in their pasture. Ox. An adult castrated bull of the genus Bos, especially Bos taurus. Bull. You might still have terrifying dreams about the bully who harassed you on the playground in 2nd grade. A bully is someone who intimidates people, usually those who are weaker or smaller. Buffalo. A buffalo is a large, ox-like animal with horns and shaggy fur. In North America, a buffalo is another name for a bison. Horse. A horse is a large, 4-legged animal with hoofs, the long nose and tail, and a mane of hair along its upper back. Zebra. That black and white striped animal that looks like a horse? That's a zebra, a large African animal with hoofs that you're most likely to see in a zoo. Donkey. A donkey is a 4-legged domesticated farm animal with hoofs that's related to the horse. Donkeys are known for the braying sound they make in their long ears. Saddle. A saddle is a leather seat for horseback riders. If you saddle something, you either put a saddle on it or you burden it with something else. If you buy an expensive saddle, for example. Harness. A harness is a set of straps that are put on a horse so it can be hitched to a wagon or a carriage. The harness distributes the effort across larger sections of the horse's body. Falcon. A falcon is a large hunting bird. Falcons are strong, with long wingspans and very sharp eyesight, not to mention their very sharp beaks. Hawk. A hawk is a relatively large bird that hunts small animals. Hawks tend to surprise their prey, swooping down on it from above. Eagle. An eagle is a large bird that preys on smaller animals. Eagles, like hawks, are birds of prey, or raptors. Owl. While most birds are known for their tweeting, owls are known for their hooting. If you hear a hoot in the woods, look for an owl, but bring your flashlight. Owls are nocturnal. Swallow. When you swallow, food or liquid is pushed from your mouth to the esophagus. Chew your food well before you swallow it. Sparrow. A sparrow is a small brown bird. Sparrows live near humans and have a pretty, musical song. Pigeon. The birds you're most likely to see while strolling around a city are pigeons. In the wild, they typically eat grains and seeds, but in New York City, Crow. A crow is a large, intelligent, black bird with a loud call. Farmers and gardeners set up scarecrows to keep crows away from their seeds and crops. Swan, swan in. The ugly duckling, a young bird, is mistaken for a duck until it grows up to be a beautiful swan. A swan is a large bird with a long, elegant neck. Goose, goose. A goose is a large bird with webbed feet. Geese hang out around ponds and lakes, fly in a V formation, and make a distinct honking noise. Cock, cock, cock is most often used to refer to either birds or guns. A cock is a rooster, but it's also the hammer on a gun that you adjust so you can fire it. Mouse, mouse. A small rodent with a pointy face, rounded ears, and a long tail is called a mouse. A mouse may be kept as a pet, or it may be an uninvited guest in your home. Rat, rat. Rats are mouse-like rodents with long tails, pointed noses, and whiskers. Rats are often associated with filth and disease. So, if someone calls you a rat, it's not like being called a fox. Squirrel, squirrel. Squirrels are rodents that live in trees and have big bushy tails. You've probably seen many squirrels in the park eating acorns and seeds. Hare, hare. Hares are animals that are closely related to rabbits but larger, with longer ears and hind legs. Frog, frog. A frog is a small amphibian with long back legs that allow it to hop. Most frogs have fat little bodies and bulging eyes on top of their heads. Behavior, behavior. Your behavior is the way you act in various situations. Note that this word ends with R, which is the British spelling, while the American English spelling is behavior. Bite, bite. To grip, cut off, or tear with, or as if with the teeth or jaws. Sting, sting. Sting most commonly refers to the wound inflicted by a bee or hornet, or to a kind of burning pain, like the brief sting when your doctor gives you a vaccine. Bark, bark. A bark is the loud, sharp sound a dog makes. Seals also bark, and people sometimes bark with laughter or bark out commands. Roar, roar. To roar is to make a ferociously loud sound, like a lion or a tiger. If you go to a football game, you'll hear the crowd roar whenever their team scores a goal. Rub, rub. To rub is to push firmly and repeatedly, like when you rub your sore foot. When Hamlet says, there's the rub, he's not talking about getting a massage. Rub, as a noun. Creep, creep. A beetle creeps along the ground. Moving slowly and silently, it creeps up on you. When you feel the touch of tiny insect legs on your skin, you shudder, because bugs give you the creeps. Crawl, crawl. To crawl is to move slowly across the floor on your hands and knees. Before they learn to walk, most babies crawl. Habitat, habitat. Your habitat is the environment you are accustomed to living in. Zoos usually try to mimic the habitats of the animals they keep. Nest, nest. A nest is a shelter or other structure that an animal uses for laying eggs or giving birth. If a bird is collecting string and straw and twigs in your yard. Hive, hive. A hive can be a home for bees. It's also a whole bunch of something moving around, like a hive of eager students, which is related to the fact that so many bees live in a hive. Cell has several different meanings, but all of them are similar. Whether it's in a prison or in your blood, or even in the political landscape, a cell is a small room, space, or unit. Cage. A cage is a structure that keeps an animal captive. If you decide to raise a tiger in your bedroom, it's best to have a sturdy cage. Stable. When something is stable, it's fixed and steady. If you needed advice, you'd probably go to your most stable friend, the one least likely to act crazy or be easily upset. Barn. A barn is an outbuilding on a farm used to keep animals or crops safe and dry. A farmer might store hay in the upper part of a barn, and have stalls for horses in the main section. Hedge. A hedge is a living fence made of closely planted bushes, which, as they grow and get trimmed and shaped, form a wall of green. Barrier. Barriers are walls, either physical or metaphorical. They can block movement. The Great Wall of China was a barrier to block invading forces from entering. Bar. If you bar a college student from entering a bar because he's too young to drink, it means that you prevent him from going into an establishment that serves alcoholic beverages. Anatomy. If you're studying anatomy, you're studying animals' bodies and you're probably dissecting them, too. You might study the anatomy of a pig to see how it relates to human anatomy. Epidemic. An epidemic is a disease that spreads rapidly among many people in a community at the same time. In the 1980s, the fast-spreading AIDS epidemic transformed life on our planet. Gene. Microscopic, yet powerful. A gene is a segment of DNA, the molecule that stores the code for building living bodies. Germ. A germ is a tiny life form that spreads disease. Germs are also small things that grow into larger things, whether animals, plants, or ideas. Bacteria are microscopic living organisms, usually one-celled, that can be found everywhere. They can be dangerous, such as when they cause infection, or beneficial. Virus. Whether in the human body or on a computer, a virus is a disease-causing agent. If you come down with a nasty stomach virus, be sure to drink lots of water, get lots of rest. Microbe is a somewhat outdated way for scientists to talk about the tiny bugs that cause diseases. When you get the flu, you can blame a microbe. Metabolism. Your metabolism is the result of all the processes in your body working together to create the energy that keeps you going. Protein makes up your nails, your hair, and the egg on your plate. This nitrogenous substance we call protein consists of chains of amino acids and is necessary for life functions. Vitamin. A vitamin is an organic substance your body needs to keep working properly. Vitamins are important to health. Secrete is all about secrets. It means both to hide and to release. When you squeeze a lemon, it secretes juice. When you stuff your money in a mattress, you secrete it there. Excrete. Eliminate from the body. Devour, devour. When you've gone all day without eating anything, you'll probably devour your dinner, especially if it's your very favorite homemade lasagna. Devour means to eat greedily and hungrily. Instinct. An instinct is something you don't need to learn. It happens naturally, without you even thinking about it. Babies cry by instinct, and ducks follow their mother by instinct. Intuitive. If you're intuitive, you can probably guess what this word means just by looking at it. No, maybe you're not so intuitive after all. Potential. If you can describe something as possible but not yet actual, choose the adjective potential. Companies try to reach potential customers through advertising. Intelligence is your ability to comprehend something, like calculus or why plants grow towards the sun. Functional. Use the adjective functional to describe something that is made to do a specific job, such as the functional alarm clock feature on a digital stopwatch. Sensitive describes something or someone who reacts quickly and strongly. It's often something to protect, like baby skin, government documents, or a fragile ecosystem. The flexible drinking straw was invented in the 1930s by a man who saw his daughter struggling to drink a milkshake with a straight paper straw. Acoustic means having to do with sound. In concert halls, acoustic panels direct the way sound moves. An audio engineer is trained in acoustic design for music recording. Optical. Anything that's optical has something to do with sight. You could call your glasses an optical aid, since they help you see things more clearly. Nocturnal. If something is nocturnal, it belongs to or is active at night. That includes vampires, owls that like to hunt by moonlight. Dormant. That old dog was dormant for so long he was confused for a furry doormat, but a doormat is likely to stay dormant, or inactive, because it is lifeless. Hibernation is a type of deep sleep some animals, like bears, go into during winter. Hibernation is like a long nap. Trace. A trace of something is just a hint or suggestion of it, a very small amount left behind, like the sad cookie crumbs at the bottom of an empty cookie jar. Track. If you document your study time and record all your exam scores, then you track your progress in school. In this case, the verb track shows that you're following the path of something. Alternate on a checkerboard, black squares alternate with white ones. As a verb, alternate means to do something in turns. As a noun, an alternate is a replacement. Prey is an animal hunted for food. If you're a delicious-looking deer during hunting season, watch your back. You're the prey for all those guys in orange jackets carrying rifles. Predator. A predator is an animal that eats other animals, or people or companies who act like they do. Lions are predators, but so are pickpockets and some giant corporations. Victim. Use the word victim to describe someone who has been wronged or harmed, like the victim of the armed robbery or the stores that went out of business, victims of the slow economy. Captive, captive. A captive is something that has been captured and can't escape, like a prisoner of war or a panda in a zoo. Defensive, defensive. Someone on the defensive is concerned with justifying their actions or words. They have a defensive attitude as they try to protect themselves. Undergo, undergo. Undergo means endure until something is complete. You might undergo testing to check your hearing, or undergo special training if you want to volunteer at a homeless shelter. Suffer, suffer. The verb suffer means to feel pain or something equally unpleasant. You'd probably do anything you could to be sure your beloved cat didn't suffer when she got old and sick. Vulnerable, vulnerable. Use the adjective vulnerable to describe something or someone open to being physically or emotionally wounded, like a newborn chick or an overly sensitive teenager. Subsistence, subsistence. Subsistence means the minimal resources that are necessary for survival. If you work for subsistence, you'll probably receive food, water. Exist, exist. The verb exist means to live, to have reality. Dodos no longer exist because they were hunted to extinction. Exterminate, exterminate. If your house becomes infested with cockroaches, mice, or even ants, you might have to exterminate them. It is certainly not a pleasant process, but often quite necessary. Tame, tame. If something is tame, it cannot surprise or injure you. It's predictable. Tame can be used as an adjective or verb. A circus lion is tame, adjective, because it's been tamed, verb. Keeper, keeper. A keeper is someone who is responsible for something, especially a property or a lot of animals. A keeper might take care of a big summer house during the winter months. Shepherd, shepherd. A shepherd is a person who herds flocks or groups of animals. If you traveled to Tibet, you might see a yak shepherd.